Hello, my name is Pusnam Yiri. I am an author, speaker, and trainer. I'm also a book writing trainer and consultant. In this video, I want to talk to you about the process of writing book or writing a book as an African. I want to share my journey with you as a book writing trainer. I started training writers, book writers in 2010. That's September 17, 2010. And what that means is in this September, I will be 13 years or so in training writers in Nigeria and beyond Nigeria and beyond Africa. By the grace of God, we have trained hundreds, so many writers, directly or indirectly, directly through our own programs, indirectly through the programs of others. We have trained leaders, professors, doctors, students, pastors, businessmen and women, young people, and different categories. Why is it that publishing and writing, why is it that these two are behind in Africa? I will share my thoughts with you on that. I have interacted with different various authors, African authors, as a consultant. I have worked with them on their projects, and I have discovered so many things that are wrong in the process of working with an African author. Um, uh, in the early part of my journey, I asked a few leaders, why is it that they don't want to write? Some of them said they were afraid of criticism, while some said they did not have someone to guide them. In my journey, I discovered that African writers have a lot of ideas, have original content, but there are two main things that are, for now, missing. Number one is how to discover original content, and then number two, how to organize the content. As a writer, you need to understand these two. And I also want to inform you that there is a difference between writers and book writers. I am convinced that anybody can write. If you have written text exams to the level where you are, it means you have experience writing. Writing can be taught in schools, but book writing is different. Book writing is like a game. You need someone who understands the rules to teach you, someone who has passed through the process to teach you. And most of the book writing top secrets are not in our schools, but they are in the publishing world. What that means is you can have a professor in English language who may not understand the secrets of publishing a good book and a marketable book. As I work with authors, especially African authors, I realize that book writing is new to many of them. Writing is not new, but book writing is new because they don't know how to start. Many of them are thinking they can take the same approach with thesis writing to write a book. It cannot work. When thesis writing is different, book writing is different. So, what do you need to know if you want to write a good book? First of all, I want to inform you that before the end of the year, we will be doing all our three categories of training book writers. The first one is called the Introduction to Book Writing. The second one is the Basic. And then the third one is the Advanced. Whichever one you want to attend, I encourage you to choose your category. Very soon, within the week or next, you are going to have details about these training programs. So, as part of our anniversary, on the day of our anniversary, I will also make a special broadcast. I will talk to you about the journey so far. I will talk to you about some lessons that I have learned. I'm grateful to God for the privilege. I started locally, but eventually I developed to a trainer at the international level, and a judge. All these three levels, main levels, have given me perspectives that will really, really help you. I have written 13 books, so I have released 13 books, but I have written about more than 20. I think they are close to 30, which I hope to release, some of them soon and some in the near future. So, what do you need to know about book writing? Um, I want you to understand something. That book writing is simply about providing a solution to a problem. So, the first thing you need to understand is this: you must discover a problem that is affecting you, a problem that is affecting you or your community. We have victims of problems in different victims of problems. We have the primary, we have the secondary, and then the tertiary victims. The primary victims are the people that are being affected directly. The secondary victims are the people who are close to people who are being affected directly. And then the tertiary victims are people who are over there. They are part of the effect of the problem, but they are not feeling the impact like the first category. So you must identify a problem. You must identify a problem, an original problem. And many African writers, unfortunately, are copying writers from the West. You can't do that. If you do that, you will not succeed in book writing. You will not succeed in book writing. So identify a problem. Identify a problem. We have problems out there. We have prostitution. We have bad leadership. We have corruption. We have drug addiction. Which problem do you want to solve? A good book cannot be produced without first identifying a problem. So, what is the problem you want to solve? For me, I want to solve the problem of low capacity underdevelopment. That is why I'm focusing on personal development. If you read all my books, you will see, directly or indirectly, I'm focusing on personal development, purpose, potential, solving the problem of low capacity. That's why my team is no one is useless. I believe everyone is useful in God's master plan. So if you want to be a writer, start with a problem identification. And then the second thing you do after identifying a problem is to now generate an idea, to get an idea, a solution to the problem, a solution to a problem. Let me say this, and let me be straightforward. Every book, every good book that is also marketable must be a solution to a problem. It has to be a solution to a problem. Get an idea that is original. I have what I call 70-30. 70-30 approach is the approach that I have developed. And what that means is I'm encouraging people when they write to write as cookers, not as microwaves. Microwaving writers are writers who take what is already popular and microwave it and microwave it, warm it, and serve it to the people. I don't, I discourage Africans from following that path. It's easier, less criticism, but I don't want you to follow the microwaving way of writing. I want you to become a cooker. A cooker cooks from ingredients, from raw materials, become a cooker. That's why my 70-30 approach to book writing states that at least when you are writing a book, 70% of your content should come from a primary source. What does that mean? If there is a book out there written about Pusnam Yeri, that's a secondary source. Interviewing me is your primary source. If there's a dictionary somewhere or whatever, history of whatever that has my story there, is your tertiary source. If you want to produce a book that is fresh, that is original, that is local, I encourage you to focus on getting 70% of your content from your primary source, 20% from secondary source, and 10% from tertiary source. This is a technical approach, but it will give you the content you need. And then the third thing you need to know is this. Remember, the first, identify a problem. The second, have the solution to that problem. And then the third, you must identify the potential readers, which we call the audience. The audience, let me put it in a medical term. The problem is the disease, all right? The solution is the medicine, the cure, and then the audience, the readers now, they are the patients. If your book is a medicine, there are patients out there who must go for it, who must go for it. Many people are saying that Africans don't read. Well, partially true. But now I discover that Africans read books. Many of them read books that are solutions to their problems. So if a book is not a solution to a problem, many people will not read. So I'm saying that identify your audience. How do you do that? Identify your audience. Still, I'll bring back the primary, secondary, and tertiary. Identify your audience, your potential readers, and then get to understand this audience, how they think. Remember, don't just sit down in your room and write a book for your readers. Don't sit down and think you are an expert and then you write a book for them. The best approach is to write a book for with them, not for them, with them. What that means, you have to go out there and do your research, ask questions, test your content with your sample audience. So what that means is you have to understand the backgrounds of your potential readers. Okay, get to understand them very well. Get to understand your primary readers, your secondary readers, and your tertiary readers. Let me give you an example. My book for children. Children are the primary readers. Their parents are the secondary, and teachers in schools, they are the tertiary. You see the formation? So these are the three main things you need to understand. There are many things that are very important, like the justification, the practical writing, the creativity. How do you develop? How do you create the right title? How do you write and develop your content? How do you use illustrations in writing? How do you develop your style? How do you develop the right unity, your voice? All these things are things that you need to know. And in conclusion, I want you to know that please, it is better for you to invest in training and write a good book that is marketable than for you to avoid training and then you go and write and invest a lot of money in printing a bad book. It's very important you attend any of our training programs. We're encouraging you to do so. Africans have the potential, Africans have the energy, Africans have the creativity to produce books of international standards. But many of the writers I have interacted with, they are only focusing on writing books so that they can launch these books so that they can get income. If we follow that path, we are not going to write great books as Africans. The right path is for us to become legacy writers, people who are writing books that will outlive them. If you write a good book that is marketable, you will still get the income. But I encourage you to do so. I have worked with different writers. Some of them did not find it easy working with me, but eventually, they were happy. In fact, one of them that I delayed his content until the content was cooked. You have to cook the content. There is a way you can cook the content. He was not happy with the process, but eventually, when we published his book, he called me recently and thanked me, and really, really thanked me. I've also worked with an author. I think he worked on 15 to 16 books or so. Eventually, he too, found it very well. Enjoyed the process. So it is very important for us as Africans to arise and to produce books of international standard. Till I come your way again, my name is Pusnam Yuri, and my passion is to produce extra leaders. Extra leaders are people who are driven by the godly purpose, and they are also leading from their areas of calling, and at the same time they are writing books about their stories and values, so that when they die, they don't die undocumented, because we have lost the stories of most of our grandparents, our parents, because they died without documenting their stories. And if Africa continues this way, we are going to lose a lot of valuable stories, a lot of valuable content. I am optimistic that book writing can develop Africa because somebody says that there are three steps. Number one is conservation, criticism, and creation and creativity. If we save our values today, that is conservation. The next generation will come and look at what we have conserved and they will criticize and create. That is the path to development. I wish you the best, and I hope that you are going to join us on this mission. And I want to share you can go to our website and be inspired, www.nacho.com, www.nacho.com. We also have our personal developers community. You can be one of the members. I wish you very well, very well. I wish you the best until I come your way before the anniversary day. I will come your way again and I will teach you another part of book writing. I wish you the best. My name is Posnanyeri. Bye bye.